Can you call Doc and tell him to sign in? George, you got your phone? You got a number? 334. Seven 8468. Try to talk to me on email this time. Who's that ring?
Doc, this is Joyce. Charles said Chuck sent you an email and with a link to sign in.
Just click it.
Just click the link. All right. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It takes the pressure off when you have no confidence. Because you're not worried that if you can't do it, because now you're not about it, it's nothing you can do. You act a little more freedom to push yourself to be best.
Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc. Take your mute off. You got your mute off?
Okay, all right.
You got your mute off? Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Now, everything you're gonna say is gonna be recorded. And I'll let you know. I'll let you know when your 5 minutes is up.
Okay.
Now you're gonna, let me say, put the camera a little more closer to center yourself.
Like
You want
that?
to center yourself. Okay, right there. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Now, you got the questions?
I have the question. Yeah.
Okay, you are recording. Everything you're saying has been recorded. You can start, you can go right now.
My name is Bernard LaFayette Jr., and I'm one of those people who were involved in the civil rights movement back in the 60s. And I was working directly with Martin Luther King in Atlanta, Georgia, as his program administrator. So I was very much involved at an early age. And I was involved in the sit-ins in 1960 as well, with John Lewis and many of the other civil rights leaders, like James Lawson Jr., etc. We were at a meeting in Atlanta and we got a visitor from Colombia, which was Luis Patero. Luis Patero came to us and wanted to meet with us and tell us about the situation in Colombia. And he wanted to invite us to go there to teach nonviolence and to help to at least focus on the violence that they were experiencing among each other. And the Colombians were killing each other at a high rate. So we decided, that was Charles Alphen Sr. and myself, to respond by going down to see if we could be of any assistance. And we were. We got a chance to do some nonviolence training, but our focus was training on leadership. That is, to train leaders who can help others learn about nonviolence. And we ended up working not only with the people in the community and the industry, even the people who were there working in the transportation. So what we did was focus on those who were in prison as well. We got a chance to meet Governor Gaviria, and that was a remarkable experience because he was very much committed to helping make Colombia a better place. So we wanted to talk about the fact that Governor Gaviria made a big difference in terms of trying to bring together the differences among the different people, particularly the FARC in Colombia. So what he did was he helped and supported what we were doing. We went to Caicedo to help with the training there. And many of the people who were in Caicedo had coffee beans as their income. And they would bring those coffee beans in. And the FARC would many times come and take part of the truckloads of coffee beans. So the people were desperate in that community. So the governor decided that he would take a march, okay, from Medellin up to Caicedo. So we got it, that march, and he was very particular. And he didn't want any armed soldiers and things to come with him. There were people who could come and join the march, but not with any weapons. He had a nonviolent march, like Martin Luther King and John Lewis did in Selma, Alabama. So he'd been reading and studying Martin Luther King, and he was so interested and excited about this nonviolence. So I went with him, and we went with him, Charles Alphen and Juan Johnson, and we went up to Caicedo. Halfway there, the FARC said if we would go into Caicedo, they were going to attack Caicedo once we left. So we did not want to put the people in jeopardy. So what we did was we went and marched up there. Now, one of the things that happened is that when they attacked them and took their coffee beans, we said that I went with the governor, and the FARC had hit one of the priests in the head with a gun, and also snatched the rosary from another priest and threw it in the river. So my position was that I'm going to go back to Rhode Island, and I'll get 10,000 rosaries. If they want to throw rosaries in the river, find 10,000 rivers. And I have here in my hand one of the rosaries that came from that meeting in Casado, where we brought the rosaries there to give the people. So moving fast now, what we did was stopped halfway, and we told the FARC that we would not go into Casado, but we would like to go to the outskirts, and we would like to meet with them and talk to them. In nonviolence, you got to communicate and talk to people. So they agreed. The FARC agreed to talk to us. However, once we got there to Casado, we went to go with the FARC up in the jungles to a place where we could talk and negotiate. And we found out that they had kidnapped us rather than talking to us. So I took the position that I would support the governor and would go up there and to negotiate. We had not expected to be kidnapped because we had a global conference that was going to be right there in Colombia, and people from all over the world were coming to this global conference. So I had to be there to greet them. So I told them that I was going to have lunch because it was time for me to eat. So I sat on a rock, and they pushed a gun in my chest, in my stomach. I said, no, yo quiero comer food. And so the El Paiso was not there yet. He was on his way. So they looked at me and they said, this gringo is mucho loco, because I had not responded to their violence at all, but rather I was treating them like they were human beings. And that's where we have to treat each other. Regardless of how other people behave, we have to be the example that we want others to be. We must show that example. So they finally agreed to bring the lunch. So they got food from those who were on the march and brought the food there. And when we ate, everybody ate. All of those FARC members and everybody else. They finally put me on a horse and took me back to the whole area where the marches were. Now, one of the things we want to keep in mind is that Governor Gaviria wanted peace among the Colombians. He was willing to negotiate and to talk, to find a way for people to be able to work together. He wanted a peaceful country. And when we look at what the possibilities are, the people in Colombia are some of the most peaceful people you could find, even though they have these violent attacks and stuff against each other. They, the potential is great. And that's what we look for, the potential. We train those in prison, and we train all those different gang members who have been killing each other, the leaders. We brought them together, and they learn nonviolence together. And they also agreed to teach the high school students, the young people. They were brought to the prison, and the inmates who have been trained in nonviolence taught them. The possibilities are unlimited, but we have to recognize the fact that we must find a nonviolent, peaceful conflict reconciliation We must learn to look for the things that we have in common rather than the things we have in difference with each other. We may not necessarily be able to solve all of our problems, but we must find those things where we can come together and work together. I have no doubt in my mind that Colombia can be the example for the rest of the world because I know them. I've worked with them. I've seen the possibilities. And so I really want to applaud you and be able to say that your governor was the best example, and we should follow that example and find a way to make Colombia the example for the rest of the world.